Here's something that surprised me when I started researching this video. One of the most repeated pieces of wellness advice out there, something you've probably heard 100 times, turns out to have almost no science behind it at all. And one of the least talked about habits, something most people have never even heard of, is backed by some of the strongest research I found. So today, I'm going to walk you through 10 wellness habits that genuine research actually supports, and 5 popular tips you can safely let go of, because they're simply not backed by evidence. I'll tell you exactly where each fact comes from, so you're never just taking my word for it. And I'll save the most surprising one, the one even a lot of doctors don't bring up, for the end. If you've ever felt confused by conflicting health advice online, by the end of this video, you'll have real clarity. Let's get into it. This is general information and not intended to be medical advice. Let's start with something almost everyone struggles with at some point: sleep. Tip number 1, consistency matters more than the number of hours. Going to bed and waking up at roughly the same time every day, yes, even on weekends, helps regulate your body's internal clock. Sleep researchers have found this kind of consistency can improve sleep quality even more than simply adding extra hours. I know that's easier said than done, especially if your schedule has changed a lot over the years. Retirement, grandkids, travel, but even shifting your bedtime by just 15 minutes closer to consistency each week can make a real difference. Now here's a myth I want to gently retire. Myth number 1, the more sleep, the better. It's a nice idea, but it's not quite accurate. The National Institute on Aging notes that most adults, including older adults, do well with 7 to 9 hours. And consistently sleeping much more than that has actually been associated with some health concerns in research, just as too little sleep has. So more isn't automatically better. It's about finding your steady rhythm. And stay with me here, because tip number 7, coming up later, is directly connected to sleep in a way that almost nobody talks about, and it might be the easiest change on this entire list. Before we continue, I welcome everyone to Fact Checked Health. I'm Mira, and on this channel, we break down trusted health research into clear, easy-to-understand information to help you make informed decisions about your health. Before we get started, I'd love to know 2 things. Tell me your age and where you're watching from in the comments below. Your comments help us understand our community and create videos about the health topics that matter most to you. And if you're interested in reliable, evidence-based health information, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video. Now, let's continue. Let's talk about something so simple it's easy to overlook: hydration. And this is where one of our myths lives. Myth number 2. Lemon water in the morning detoxes your body. You've probably seen this one everywhere. Here's the honest picture. A study looking at people who drank lemon water reported feeling more hydrated in the morning, which is a real pleasant effect. But experts are clear that the detox claim itself isn't backed by evidence. Your liver and kidneys are already doing that job every single day, whether you drink lemon water or not. That doesn't mean lemon water is bad if you enjoy it. That's a perfectly nice way to start your day. It's just not the miracle detox some wellness accounts claim. Tip number 2, a simple hydration check. As we get older, our sense of thirst can become less reliable, which means many people don't realize they're dehydrated until it's already affecting them. A simple, practical check that sports medicine professionals often recommend. Pay attention to the color of your urine. Pale yellow generally suggests you're well hydrated. Dark yellow is a signal to drink more. It's such a small thing, but it's one of the easiest ways to stay ahead of dehydration before it becomes a bigger problem. And dehydration in older adults has been linked to issues like confusion and dizziness, so this one's worth taking seriously. Now here's a section I think deserves more attention than it gets, because this next tip is connected to something a lot of people worry about but rarely talk about directly: falls. Tip number 3, balance exercises, even just a few minutes a day. The CDC specifically highlights balance and strength exercises as one of the most effective ways to reduce fall risk in adults over 60. Simple things like standing on one foot while holding onto a counter, or gentle chair-based exercises done consistently. This isn't about intense workouts. Even a few minutes, a few times a week, has shown real benefit in research on fall prevention. My own mother started doing simple balance exercises after a scare a few years back. And honestly, watching how much steadier she became in just a couple of months is part of why I wanted to make this video. Now let's clear up a myth that stops a lot of people from staying active at all. Myth number 3, you shouldn't exercise much after a certain age. This one can actually do harm by keeping people less active than they should be. The World Health Organization's guidelines specifically recommend physical activity, including both aerobic movement and strength exercises, and note that some activity is always better than none, regardless of age. Tip number 4, walking remains one of the most researched, most accessible habits there is. Research consistently links regular walking with benefits for heart health, mood, and joint mobility. You don't need a gym membership or special equipment, just a comfortable pair of shoes and a safe place to walk, even if that's a short loop around your home. Coming up next, a tip about your brain that researchers only started clearly understanding in the last several years. If you've ever worried about memory, you're going to want to hear this one. Let's talk about something that worries a lot of people as they get older: memory and cognitive health. Myth number 4, serious memory decline is just a normal, unavoidable part of aging. Here's what the research actually shows. While some mild changes in memory are common with age, significant cognitive decline is not considered an inevitable part of aging itself. The National Institute on Aging is clear that noticeable memory problems can have many different causes, and it's always worth discussing changes with a doctor rather than assuming nothing can be done. Tip number 5, staying mentally and socially engaged. Research has linked activities that combining mental engagement with social interaction, things like group classes, book clubs, card games with friends, or learning a new skill, with better cognitive outcomes over time, more so than solitary mental puzzles alone in some studies. So if you've been telling yourself that joining that class, or calling an old friend, or picking up that hobby again is just extra, the research suggests it might be doing more for you than you realize. And speaking of connection, the next tip is one that shows up in almost every major long-term health study I looked into for this video, and it might be the most underrated wellness habit there is. If you're still watching, you're someone who truly cares about staying healthy and informed. If you found this video helpful so far, consider subscribing to Fact Checked Health. We publish evidence-based videos designed to help you better understand your body and make more informed health decisions. Your support also helps us continue creating well-researched health content every week. So back to segment 5. Tip number 6, social connection. I mentioned this would come up, and here's why it deserves its own moment. Strong relationships are one of the most reliable predictors of long-term health and well-being. In some analyses, mattering as much as more commonly discussed factors like diet or exercise. Some of the longest-running health studies ever conducted, tracking people over decades, have consistently found that connection matters as much as more commonly discussed factors like diet or exercise. This one genuinely changed how I think about wellness videos in general. We talk so much about food and exercise, but the research keeps pointing back to relationships and connection just as strongly. If there's one thing to take from this section, it's this. Reaching out to someone, joining that group, keeping in touch, it isn't just nice. It's genuinely, measurably good for you. Now, let's talk about something in your kitchen. Tip number 7, and this is the one I promised you. It's connected to sleep, but it's about something completely different. Morning sunlight. Getting outside for even 10 to 15 minutes of natural morning light has been associated in sleep and circadian rhythm research with better sleep quality that night, because natural light helps regulate the same internal clock we talked about at the start of this video. It's such a small thing, a cup of coffee on the porch, a short walk to get the mail, but it's one of the most consistently supported, least talked about habits I came across. Tip number 8. Protein intake often needs to increase with age, not decrease. This surprises a lot of people. Research on aging and muscle health has found that maintaining adequate protein intake becomes even more important as we age, since the body naturally becomes less efficient at using protein to maintain muscle and strength. Now, one more myth before we move on. Myth number 5. Supplements can fully replace nutrients from food. Multiple health organizations, including the Mayo Clinic, note that whole foods generally provide nutrients in forms the body absorbs and uses more effectively than most supplements, along with fiber and other compounds supplements don't contain. Supplements can be useful for specific, doctor-identified gaps, but they're not a simple substitute for a balanced diet. We're almost through the full list, just 2 more, and both of these are easy to overlook. Tip number 9. Regular vision and hearing checks. It sounds simple, but research has linked untreated vision and hearing changes with increased fall risk and in some studies with faster cognitive decline, likely because both affect how engaged and confident people feel moving through daily life. Regular checks are a simple way to protect your independence. Tip number 10. Keeping an updated, simple list of your medications. This one isn't glamorous, but the CDC specifically recommends older adults keep a current, accurate list of all medications and supplements, since this single habit has been shown to reduce medication errors and helps any doctor you see get a clear, accurate picture quickly. Now, let's bring it all together. Here's everything we covered today. Sleep. Consistency matters more than quantity, and more isn't automatically better. Hydration. A simple color check can catch dehydration early, and lemon water is lovely, just not a detox. Balance and movement. A few minutes of balance work and regular walking, and know it's never too late to stay active. Brain health. Meaningful decline isn't just an inevitable part of aging, and staying socially and mentally engaged matters. Connection. Genuinely one of the strongest predictors of long-term well-being in the research. Morning light, a small daily habit tied directly back to better sleep. Protein often needs more attention, not less, as we age. Supplements, helpful in specific cases, but not a replacement for real food. Vision, hearing, and medication tracking, simple checks that quietly protect your independence. If you only take one thing from this whole video, let it be this. Small, consistent habits, not dramatic overhauls, are what the research keeps pointing to again and again. Every single source mentioned today is linked in the description because I'd genuinely rather you look into it yourself than just take my word for it. This is general information, not medical advice. Talk to your doctor before making changes. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If this was helpful, consider subscribing. I put together a new one of these every week, and I'd love to have you back. Take care of yourself.